The year was 1997. The film was Titanic. It wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural phenomenon that redefined the blockbuster. The world was introduced to Jack Dawson and Rose DeWitt Bukater, and with them, the actors who brought them to life, Leonardo Dicaprio and Kate Winslet, were catapulted into a stratosphere of fame few have ever experienced. The film's success was built on the palpable chemistry between its two leads. Their love story, tragic and all-consuming, felt incredibly real because to the audience it was. The public narrative from day one was clear. They were the perfect couple, and the world desperately wanted them to be together. When they appeared on the red carpet, arm in arm, the screams of fans and the flashing of cameras would hit a fever pitch. They were the couple of the decade, the embodiment of a modern-day fairy tale. The media, of course, played a massive role in constructing this image. Every glance, every shared laugh at an awards show was analyzed and dissected as proof of an off-screen romance. The story was easy to sell, and the public was buying it in droves. This image of a perfect, unrequited love was carefully cultivated and eagerly consumed. The idea that these two stars, who looked so perfect together, might just be friends seemed impossible. It went against every Hollywood trope. The world wanted the fantasy, and for a long time, Kate and Leo played along, at least publicly. They never denied their deep affection for each other, which, instead of quelling the rumors, only fanned the flames. The official narrative was a tightrope walk. They were close, they loved each other, but they insisted it was just friendship. It was a narrative that left millions unconvinced. They allowed the world a glimpse into their world, but kept the door firmly shut on the truth until a few cracks began to appear. Despite the screaming headlines and the public's desperate hope, there were subtle clues from the very beginning that their relationship might not be the romantic fairy tale everyone imagined. The first hint, interestingly, came from Kate Winslet herself. In a revealing interview, she spoke about her initial reaction to meeting the famously handsome Dicaprio. She admitted to having some anxiety about working with him, confessing, "I did think to myself beforehand, it's going to be hard because, what if I really fancy him?" This was the kind of admission that fueled the dating rumors. The world thought, see, even she couldn't resist him. But the very next sentence she said changed everything. She revealed that she quickly realized she didn't have to worry, because their dynamic was instantly different. He always saw me as one of the boys, she would later explain. This was the first crack in the perfect couple facade. This wasn't the language of a woman describing a budding romance. This was the language of a woman describing a deep, platonic friendship. As they promoted Titanic, their behavior was a contradiction. They were endlessly affectionate and playful, but it lacked the awkward tension of a new relationship. It was the comfort and ease of old friends. When pressed about the dating rumors, Kate would laugh them off with a startling analogy. In 1998, she told Rolling Stone just the notion of that was insane. It would have been absolutely like incest. This was a jarring statement for the world to hear. It was the opposite of what a woman trying to hide a secret romance would say. It was a line in the sand, drawing a clear boundary that fans and media chose to ignore. She was trying to tell the world that their connection was something different, something deeper than a fleeting Hollywood romance. But the world wasn't listening. The desire for the Jack and Rose fantasy was too strong. We missed the warning sign that their bond was forged in a crucible of shared experience, not romantic passion. As the years passed and the fan frenzy continued, it wasn't just Kate and Leo making guarded comments. Those closest to them, the insiders, began to paint a picture that was entirely at odds with the tabloid narrative. The rumors of a secret relationship were persistent, but those who knew them best described a bond that was more like family than a clandestine affair. A key insight came from the set of Titanic itself. Kate was a relatively unknown actress fighting for the role of Rose, and she later admitted that she actively campaigned for Leo to be cast as Jack. She saw something in him that she knew was right for the part. She told James Cameron, "You don't understand. I am Rose. I don't know why you're even seeing anyone else." This wasn't the behavior of someone who just wanted a co-star. It was the instinct of someone who knew they needed a partner in the trenches of this massive production. She needed a friend. Their on-set antics, as reported by crew members, were not those of lovers. They were pranksters and confidants. Director James Cameron revealed a particularly telling anecdote about Dicaprio's humor, which was exclusively designed to make Kate laugh. Grossing Kate out was purely Leo's job. He was really good at it, Cameron said, recalling how Leo would cover her face with his smelly jacket. This was a level of comfortable, juvenile intimacy that only exists between the most trusted of siblings or best friends. It was a dynamic that was confirmed when they reunited on screen for Revolutionary Road. Director Sam Mendes, who was Winslet's husband at the time, was at the helm. The situation could have been incredibly awkward, but those on set observed only a deepening of their friendship. Dicaprio gifted Winslet a gold band, a friendship ring with a secret message engraved on the inside. When asked about it, she would only say, "I'm not going to tell you what it says. It's private." The insiders were telling a story of profound intimacy and loyalty that was entirely separate from romance. As the rumors continued to swirl, the public began to see tangible evidence that contradicted the romantic narrative. It wasn't just what they said, but what they did. The first major piece of evidence came in 2009 at the Golden Globes. Kate Winslet won the award for Best Actress for her role in Revolutionary Road. During her acceptance speech, she turned to her co-star and best friend, who was sitting in the audience, and delivered a speech that for many remains the ultimate declaration of their unique bond. "Leo, I'm so happy I can stand here and tell you how much I love you, and how much I've loved you for 13 years, she said, tears welling in her eyes. "I love you with all my heart, I really do." The world watched, holding its breath. It was a moment of raw, undeniable emotion. It was everything they had ever wanted to hear from her. Yet, the context was critical. She was not declaring romantic love. She was professing a deep, familial love for a soulmate of a different kind. This wasn't the evidence the public was looking for, but it was powerful proof of a bond that transcended the average friendship. The most significant evidence came 3 years later. In 2012, Kate Winslet married Edward Abel Smith in a private ceremony. This event was a major blow to the shipping narrative, but the way in which she got married added another layer to the mystery. It was reported that Leonardo DiCaprio did not attend as a guest, but rather he was the one who walked her down the aisle. This was not the role of a bitter ex-lover, a secret boyfriend, or even a standard best man. This was the act of someone who is family. This was the act of a brother giving away his sister. The role was deeply symbolic. It wasn't a romantic gesture, it was a sacred familial duty. This act of walking her down the aisle effectively silenced the speculation of a hidden romance, but created an even more profound question. What is the true nature of this powerful, unbreakable bond? If there was a single event that clarified the entire nature of their relationship, it might be the revelation of a secret that had been kept for over a decade. For years, the public knew that DiCaprio had given Winslet a friendship ring. It was a symbol of their bond, but the meaning behind it was a closely guarded secret. In a 2024 interview with Harper's Bazaar UK, Kate Winslet finally revealed the story behind it, and it changed everything we thought we knew. She recounted a dream she had while filming Revolutionary Road. In the dream, she gave Leo a paperweight. Engraved on the paperweight was the phrase, "Wherever you go, I will go too." It was a simple promise of eternal togetherness. The power of the dream and its sentiment hit Leo hard. When she told him about it, he broke down in tears. He was deeply moved by the symbolism of their bond. This wasn't a moment of romantic passion. It was a moment of profound vulnerability and connection between two people who understood that their souls were intertwined. As a result of that emotional confession, when filming ended, they didn't just buy each other a gift. They went out and got each other the same thing. DiCaprio had the ring engraved with the words from Winslet's dream. The ring wasn't a symbol of romantic love. It was a pact. It was a physical manifestation of their promise to be there for each other no matter what. This was the turning point. The world could finally see that this bond was not based on a fleeting passion from their youth, but on a conscious and continuous choice to be part of each other's lives. It was the moment the fairy tale romance fantasy was put to rest, replaced by something far more rare and precious, an eternal friendship. So, after more than 2 decades of speculation, and now, with Leo having finally broken his silence, what can we conclude is the truth of their relationship? When you connect all the dots, a clear picture emerges that is far more powerful than a simple love story. The real reason they never dated, as Kate herself has stated, is because there was never a romantic attraction between them. She explained to Marie Claire that the key to their bond was its platonic nature. He always saw me as one of the boys. I was never the girly girl. This was the foundation upon which their entire relationship was built. What they found in each other was far more valuable than a Hollywood romance. When Titanic made them the biggest stars on the planet, they were both in their early 20s. They were thrust into a media maelstrom that was overwhelming, especially for Winslet, who has admitted she wasn't ready to be a famous actress. She felt so invaded and couldn't even go to a shop. They leaned on each other, becoming a safe harbor in the storm of their own fame. They were each other's rocks, navigating the pressures of superstardom together. They became the epitome of work spouses or soulmates, in the truest sense of the word. Their bond evolved into something familial. He is Uncle Leo to her children, and she has been his most consistent emotional support. When Leo finally won his Oscar for The Revenant, it was Kate who was there, hugging him and tearing up. She has been the one to give him tough love, reportedly pushing him to settle down and find happiness, showing a level of care and concern reserved for family. Theirs is a relationship built on a shared history, unconditional love, and unwavering support. It is a relationship that has survived marriages, divorces, children, and the immense pressures of Hollywood. The question is no longer, why aren't they together? But how did they build such an extraordinary friendship? And now, Leo has finally broken his silence. The revelation isn't a confession of a secret affair. It's a validation of a love that is more profound and in many ways more challenging to find. He has stepped forward not to reveal a hidden romance, but to publicly and unreservedly affirm the depth of his friendship with Kate Winslet. In a recent surprise appearance at a screening of her new film, the world witnessed the true nature of their bond. He didn't whisper in her ear or engage in a private conversation. He stood before the cameras and the public and declared, "She is one of the great talents of my generation." He saw her not as a love interest or a conquest, but as an equal, a peer, and a legend in her own right. This is the ultimate truth of their story. For decades, the world looked at them and saw a romance that wasn't there. We were so consumed by the image of Jack and Rose that we failed to see the real miracle happening right in front of us. The shocking revelation is that they found a soulmate, a life partner, and a pillar of support in each other without the romance. They defied the Hollywood rulebook that says a man and a woman with such incredible chemistry must be destined for each other. They proved that the most powerful love can be purely platonic. Leo's silence was never about hiding a secret. It was about protecting something sacred. He was protecting a friendship that has stood the test of time, a bond that is unbreakable. The revelation is that they have already won the Hollywood game. They didn't need to find love in each other because they already had something that most people spend a lifetime searching for, a true, unconditional, and unbreakable partnership that has lasted a lifetime. They have been bonded for life from the moment they met.